Hey everyone, Harris O'Malley from DrNerdLove.com. This week, I want to talk about a common dating myth, one that gets kicked around a lot in dating circles. It's the idea that women like bad boys or assholes, and that there is a bright dividing line between guys who get dates, the assholes, and guys who don't, the nice guys. Now, this is something I have talked about briefly on previous episodes, but it's a topic that deserves deeper discussion because it touches on a lot of issues that, quite frankly, are killing your game. Now, for clarity's sake, I'm not talking about the self-described nice guys, capital N, capital G, the guys who treat dating like a redemption game where if you collect enough nice tickets, you get to trade them in for blowjobs. No, I'm talking about the guys who are nice in the sense that they are generally polite, respectful, and considerate. In fact, they're so considerate and respectful that they never actually do anything, which honestly is part of the issue. The idea that women love bad boys and nice guys are just out of luck, or that whole alpha beta bucks crap, is one that gets tossed around a lot as though it were gospel truth. And in fairness, it's something that can feel true, especially if you're someone who thinks that they fall on the nice guy side of the equation. But the fact that something feels like it's true doesn't mean that it actually is. The reality is that you can be socially successful, whether you're a serial monogamist or someone who likes to play the field, and still be a gentleman. The problem is that people who get caught up in this mindset spend a lot of time trying to justify it, talking about alpha male this and beta male that and 80-20 splits and dark triad halo effects without ever looking any deeper than just the surface of the issue. It's tempting to just leave it at women love bad boys because you penis, that's why. Because it creates a narrative where the unfortunate nice guy is the underdog, cursed by biology or an uncaring universe to just forever be unlucky in love. But the reality is different. The issue isn't that nice guys are unattractive because science or evolutionary psychology. It's not that women instinctively crave dudes who are gonna sponge money off of them and bang their friends behind their back and then dump them because there's just something irresistible about a guy who tests high for narcissism. It's far simpler than that. It's not about what those bad boys do so much as it is about what the nice guys don't. The first thing that bad boys do that nice guys don't is simple. They put effort into their appearance. In a study conducted by the Washington University of St. Louis, researchers found that when they showed photos of various individuals to study participants, the photos of people who demonstrated personality levels that corresponded with what's known as the dark triad, psychopathy, Machiavellianism, and narcissism, were rated as being more physically attractive than people who had more positive personality traits. But when study participants were shown photos of the exact same people, only this time dressed identically in baggy gray sweatsuits, the difference in attractiveness disappeared. That attractiveness was all based around their presentation. This is one of the biggest differences between bad boys and nice guys. Bad boys put in the effort and the work into their appearance. They tend to pick clothes that are more stylish and that actually fit. They pay attention to their grooming, to their skincare, and the way that they present themselves. A lot of nice guys, on the other hand, tend to see style as something that happens to other people, or something that they want, but they feel that they can't really do yet. Which, to be honest, is a topic for an episode in and of itself, and if you want to hear more about that, be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments. As it is, dressing up sharp and getting a good haircut and changing up your look is one of the simplest and easiest ways to turn nice into nice. The next difference between bad boys and nice guys is that bad boys have swagger. Now, this is something that a lot of folks confuse for arrogance or showboating, when in reality, it's something quieter, lower key, often more primal. George Clooney in Out of Sight or Ocean's 11 is a prime example of someone with swagger. He isn't bragging or showing off, he's just going about his day like normal, but with a little something extra. That something extra is simply attitude, and it's purely mental. It's the mindset of someone who feels completely at ease and confident in himself. He's moving carefully and deliberately because he doesn't feel the need to rush, and he's carrying himself with the attitude of someone who's not just self-assured, but who's enjoying himself. Nice guys don't do this because, well, they're too nice. They're a little overly concerned with everybody else to the point that they don't feel like they can be confident or at ease with themselves. They're so worried about potentially upsetting someone that they're always holding themselves back. Think of it as the difference between walking through an empty room listening to your favorite music and trying to walk through a series of incredibly narrow rows of valuable china. In the former, you feel free and at ease, whereas in the latter, you feel constrained and restricted, like you have to move very carefully lest you knock over a series of Ming vases. Finding your swagger, that mental attitude where you're at ease and confident in yourself and feel free, is important. This is actually an area where fake it till you make it works because it goes both ways. Your attitude will translate into everything that you do, and adopting the physical aspects of swagger, that unhurried, smooth, deliberate motion, that slight smile, affects your attitude as well. And speaking of attitude, that brings us to the third difference between nice guys and bad boys. Part of why bad boys are appealing is because, frankly, nice guys are too nice. They're accommodating, they're easygoing, to the point of being boring. Nice guys often aren't as attractive or as desirable as bad boys because they're eager to please, and often that eagerness translates into desperate for validation or afraid to rock the boat. In other words, they're pushovers. A lot of nice guys, especially nice guys who are interested in someone, are afraid to take a stand or to take risks. They're people pleasers to the point that they're afraid to do anything that might be disagreeable to someone that they're into. And while that roll over, rub my belly, I'm just happy to be here attitude is great if you're a golden retriever, it's not really something that people are looking for in a potential partner. Bad boys and assholes, on the other hand, tend to be more of a challenge. Part of why bad boys can seem more desirable is that they aren't afraid of what might happen if they're not 100% in sync with somebody that they're flirting with. They don't feel the need to constantly seek other people's approval. They're willing to be polarizing or to put themselves slightly out of reach. In fact, it's that taking a step back, a push-pull dynamic, that makes them seem more interesting and thus more desirable than someone who's easy like Sunday morning. They aren't just trying to get her approval or interest, they want her to work for theirs too. Now, this doesn't mean using stupid PUA tactics like negging or status games to make women seek your approval. It just means being willing to give a little interest and then pull back a little bit so that they will come to you. It's that hint of unavailability that can make the difference between someone who's so simple and easy that they're boring and someone who keeps other people on their toes. Now, this sense of being a challenge is important because it ties into another difference between nice guys and bad boys. Bad boys have intensity. There's a level of self-assuredness and purpose to them. Most people, especially nice guys, don't. It's part of why nice guys tend to be eager for approval. They don't have any belief in their own worth or value. So, since nice guys don't feel as though women could be interested in them on their own merits, they focus almost entirely on the idea of, well, if I do all the things she likes, then she'll like me. This ends up translating into being wishy-washy and apologetic. It's like they feel like they need to make amends for not being someone else. Bad boys, on the other hand, don't have this problem. They don't hesitate. They don't feel the need to apologize for their existence or for their desires and interests. This gives them self-assurance and confidence and a feeling of inner strength that a lot of nice guys lack. Of course, as with other aspects, this is an area where it is very easy to overdo it. There is a difference between not feeling like, say, you have to apologize for being interested in someone and plowing through somebody else's boundaries or comfort. There's having the strength of your beliefs, and then there's being an arrogant dick about it. The guy who's an asshole isn't more appealing just because he's an unapologetic asshole. Having intensity also doesn't mean that you need to be super serious or unemotional. You can be silly, even goofy at times, and still have intensity. It's simply about that bone-deep belief in your own value and your own worth, which brings us to the last and possibly most important reason why bad boys succeed where nice guys fail. They're aggressive. One of the eternal failings of the nice guy is that they never make their move. Stop me if you've heard this one before. A guy who's sweet but maybe a little shy decides that he's interested in someone. After spending time trying to talk with her, working on building up some attraction and getting to know her, he has finally built up his courage to the point where he's going to ask her out on a date. Which is when he finds out that she's just started dating someone else. The problem here is that they spent so long waiting or trying to find the right moment, and the guy she's dating didn't. At the end of the day, this is the critical difference. Nice guys hesitate, bad boys don't. They see someone who catches their interest and they make their move. They don't wait until the stars have aligned and everything's perfect or they've built up enough on their social meter. They just take their shot and they move on if it doesn't work. And hey, I get it. Rejection sucks. But the truth is, he who hesitates loses. When you're trying to make sure that you are 110% guaranteed not to be rejected and coming up with all of these very reasonable excuses as to why you can't say anything, the guy who really just likes how her ass looks in those jeans has already rolled up on her. And while he may not be as good of a match for her as you are, he's the one who asked her. You didn't. That's what makes the difference between success and failure. It's not about the fact that one guy's a dirtbag and the other is a cinnamon roll who's too pure for this sinful world. It's that one guy had the confidence, the intensity, and the drive on lock, and the other didn't. If you want the success that those bad boys have, then you need to understand why they have it. It's not about becoming an asshole. It's about looking inside and saying, "No more Mr. Nice Guy." Hey, thanks for checking out my latest video. So, you've heard from me and now I want to hear from you. How have you learned to find your swagger or the style that just transformed you? I want to hear your story, so be sure to share it with me in the comments. I can't wait to read it. And hey, if you have a short dating question or a topic you'd like to hear more about on here, let me know. Share that in the comments as well, or you can send it to me at doc@drnerdlove.com for YouTube in the subject header. Meanwhile, if you've met someone who's awesome and you want to be sure that you can turn getting her number into an unforgettable date, then check out my newest book, I Got Her Number, Now What? This is your all-purpose guide to texting for dating success. It's available on print and ebook, and links to buy it are in the show notes. If you do check it out, or any of my other books for that matter, be sure to rate and review them on Amazon or Goodreads. It's a huge help. If you're digging the series, then you know what to do now. Hit that thumbs up, be sure to share it with all your friends, and if you're really enjoying these videos, if you're finding that you're getting a lot out of it, that it's helping you, and you want to support the channel, then consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/drnerdlove. Even $1 is a huge help, and as I'm always saying, I can't do this without the support of my patrons, so whether you've just joined me or whether you've been a patron from the beginning, thank you so very much. Meanwhile, you can follow me on Twitter at @drnerdlove. You can keep up with all the latest news on the Facebook page at facebook.com/drnerdlove. And as always, hit that logo to subscribe, check out my other videos, and I will be back with you next time with more about love, sex, and dating. Later.